Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Yarns with Andy. Today I've got Daniel Ross. I'm really excited to have Daniel here. We're going to be speaking all about how the construction industry is broken, some of the key problems in the construction industry. And Dan comes from a background of construction law. So I'm actually quite excited for this one. And having another ETC on my panel, where he's acted as an ETC, is one of the hats he wears. So this is going to be quite an interesting episode. Let's jump into it. Dan, how are you, mate?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for making the time for being here. Appreciate it.
No worries.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for having me.
You're cool, mate.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I've been in the construction industry about 25 years
Yep.
now. Started off as a builder from 15 years old. Went through to my apprenticeship around 18, 19.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And at the time, I had my first child at 19.
Oh, yeah,
so we got qualified, had my first child. It was a pretty cool experience. And then went into high-end sort of luxury building for throughout Auckland and a couple in Queenstown and just 5 to 25 million dollar homes.
Just 5 to 25.
Just 5, yeah.
Just casually. I just casually told him that.
Just casually.
Yeah.
And they were good homes, good clients, good homes.
Were you the builder or the project manager? For
I
this
was
one?
the builder originally,
Oh, yeah, cool.
head builder, and then worked my way up to a project manager for another residential company. And then halfway through that, I sort of took on and started my own company, a small residential company. That was
Residential building company?
residential building,
Yeah,
yeah,
cool.
and that went quite well. And then I thought, look, I can offer more to the industry. So I started. Unfortunately, I went through a divorce, but then I started a residential consulting company, and
Okay. So you turned builder to project management consultant.
pretty much.
Okay,
pretty
now,
much.
mate. Not many people do that.
Pretty much.
Most project management consultants out there wouldn't know how to put two bricks together.
I'd agree with that. Some of them, yeah. And then so we set up a residential consulting company that helped main contractors and clients. We basically sat in the middle of, we're a neutral third party, and we assisted with everything right from the get-go of acquiring the land through to the architect in all disciplines from thereafter. And then
So the entire design, consenting, procurement process, all the way through to construction,
Yep, that's right.
and
then
construction monitoring management as well.
That's it. Yep, document control, programs, tracking. Cost tracking.
Time tracking.
Yep.
I know a guy for that, by the way.
I think I've just met a guy.
Oh, you did? Oh, cool.
I know a guy.
Cool.
Um,
As long as we're on the same page, bro. All right.
So we started that, and my wife now runs that company. It started in 2017. It's called Novacon Consulting.
Novacon?
Novacon.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, nice,
Yep.
nice.
And that company was set up to help clients basically feel comfortable in the construction space when they're building. Most clients have no idea. So I wanted to help, and I wanted to stop disputes. Disputes in my whole career have been, it's either someone I know or myself in a contractual dispute. So it's common, and I wanted to try my best to stop that.
Yeah, cool. Sounds like you've had quite an interesting career, bro. But what I want to kind of dig into a little bit now is how was that transition for you? How's that transition going from being being your own builder to transitioning into the project management, the entire consultancy world?
It's really benefited me. It's helped my career. It's helped me grow. It's helped me gain a lot of respect in the industry. A lot of PMs, they're good at what they do, but they can't think of how it's put together. They don't know how slabs sort of put together. They just read the plans and go, okay, well, if there's a problem, what do we do? But I have the background that sort of, and a lot of people like me, a lot of project managers like myself, have the background where we can understand that and we can think ahead, and that has really helped my career to date. Yeah,
That's quite interesting. Eh? Not many project management consultants out there actually do have real world experience.
I agree.
It is the truth.
Yeah,
Like as sad as it sounds, it's the truth.
Yeah.
But then, the literal postmasters getting paper from one place and pushing it to the other,
Yeah.
and clipping the ticket along the way. right?
Yep.
Bumps on seats.
Yep.
It's just reality of the situation we're living in.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay. So, and it's great that you've actually stepped in to make a difference, and I'm really appreciative of that, by the way.
Thank you, Andy. Yeah.
Yeah, I really am. Like, you know, when you actually talk to a project management consultant and you can actually have a good logical conversation about methodology.
That's right.
Yeah. Like, how many of them are out there
Yeah.
that you can actually have a good logical conversation about proper methodology of how you get from A to B
That's
on a
right.
project? You know, almost never.
It's thinking ahead.
Yeah.
You know, and that's yeah, you build a house, you build a large scale commercial building.
Yep.
You're always thinking ahead.
Oh yeah.
As a builder, and then you bring that into the project management space, and it's awesome.
So you've also done construction law at AU.
I've done construction law at Massey. Yeah.
At Massey, sorry.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
Oh mate, I need to have a word with my fact checking team here. They told me AU. My bad.
I've been accepted into the LLB program at AU.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
So
So where does the passion for law come into place?
it came through when I was doing the high-end scale homes, and the client's not really. They'll just sign the dotted line. They would never read the contract. Then would have come time to sort of discussing the contract, and this is not just my own project. This is other projects out there. Everyone was stuck. I was just the builder. The client was.
Don't say just the builder, bro. You're the most important person.
yeah. Well, I shouldn't say that. I was a builder at the time.
You were the builder.
The builder, and I
Words
didn't
are very
have,
important, mate.
And I didn't have the understanding of how to execute a contract. And in one instance, it got down quite heavy with the contracts, and I did not understand the clauses, the sections. What's an extension of time? How do I do a variation?
10.3 is extension as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
391. But how do I do all that? And I took it on myself to go to. At the time, I went to Unitech. I did a fabulous course at Unitech. Highly recommend it to graduates or whoever's looking coming into the PM space. That course changed me. I understood legislation. I understood sections, the acts, and how to that sort of worded appropriately my emails, and it really did help. And I highly recommend it as a start.
How long did that course take you?
That was a year course.
Oh yeah.
A year long. Yep. And then.
What if I told you I could help you cut that short to 2 days? And I work with somebody that does actually crash an entire NZ3910 course or NZ3916 course to 2 days. So I do a lot of work with this person called Rainey Sellers. She's been on the podcast a few times. I have massive amounts of respect for her.
Yep.
The work she does in the industry is just, she's God sent.
Yeah.
And she runs a training course for just anything to do with NZ3910, 3916 and more.
She's in Christchurch, right?
How do you know?
Yeah.
Hey, you've been following her, haven't you?
Yeah. She puts on some good stuff. So.
Oh, mate, yeah. She's literally on the money.
Yeah.
Like 10 times out of 10, she's on the money, and she's great to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, she's amazing to deal with.
Very knowledgeable, especially in the NEC3 contracts.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, now that you brought up NEC3, let's talk about NEC3. Yeah.
Well, I haven't had much experience in NEC3, but
What do you know of NEC3? Let's start there. For people who don't know, let's give them a brief explanation.
I know it's got a good. My understanding of it is it's got a good early warning notice clause in the contract. During my construction law degree, I analysed NEC3 master builders.
Oh yeah, master builders.
3910. 3910 is very minimal because it was.
What's the point,
widely
really?
used. Yeah. What's the point?
You probably read it overnight. Some bedtime reading.
Yeah, exactly. But NEC3 I found very user friendly. Master builders was more for the builder. And NEC3 and NZS 3910 should be used in a residential application, and it's not.
Well, yeah, but they use the master builder in the residential space more than the NEC3 or NZ3910, do they?
They use a master builder's contract, a bespoke contract, they'll use their certified builder's contract.
So this you're specifically talking in the high-end resi space. No,
Yeah,
you're not
well-
talking about
Well, that's
mass
just
land
in
level.
general. So obviously, as per the Building Act, you've got to have a contract over $30,000.
Yeah.
So that's just and clients don't know. Clients do not know what they're signing themselves into.
So then it's literally the project management companies actually providing this advice because that's the literal contract they're familiar with.
Exactly.
So the problem in this entire equation is the project management companies, you guys.
I think well, no.
Like, come on, man. That's literally what I summarized out of that.
We help the situation. We sort of
Well, you
don't-
in particular might help the situation. What about the 99% of the project management companies out there? Let's talk a little bit about. I know we're jumping from NEC to project management companies here a little bit, but then so the project management companies have the power to actually go back to the clients and advise of a good form of contract, a standard form of contract, right? The construction accords, by any means, have not helped the situation.
yes, correct.
Yep. They've came up and done a language review and wasted 4 years, right? I've said that before on the podcast. That's just a matter of fact. Yep.
Yeah.
What's the point of doing a language review on a contract and adding another position called the contract administrator and the independent certifier? like some things don't make any sense in my head. It's just more paperwork, right? As far as I'm concerned, it's paperwork, but
I like the old 2013 contract.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No,
Why
fuck
not?
no. It's okay. So let's dig into the program clauses, right? I'm a planner. Let's dig into the program clauses of NZ 3910. What's on there? Seriously, there's 2 clauses, right? 5.10 and 10.3.
Yep.
Literally, they're the only 2 program clauses in the entire contract. Yeah, and it's so basic that you don't even need to give them a program in a specified format, right? It could be on an Excel file, and it's accepted under the contract. Seriously, like how is that a program? All right. Okay. What's a comprehensive program? What level of detail is that? Like, can we be a bit more prescriptive? Like, what does that actually mean?
But Schedule 1 allows you to input what sort of program you would like.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So it could be an MPP updated every 2 weeks. But hey, does anyone do that? Andy?
Mate, does
No.
anybody know how to do that properly? Let's start there. That's probably why I have a business, and let's keep it that way, I guess. No. I'm big on upskilling the entire industry, mate. Like, passing on that knowledge and everything. But the point I was leading to is, you guys have the power as project management companies to actually influence positive change in the industry, not sway the contract one way or another, either towards the client or towards the contractor. And that's where I think NEC comes into play. And I think it's beautiful, right? As long as you don't go adding special conditions after special conditions.
Correct.
Then that's where the problems start.
Yeah.
Right? As long as you administer the contract its base format. Who's the other guy that was on my podcast? Amazing guy, Shane Burley from Simplicity. I'm sure you know Shane from
I've heard. Yep.
Simplicity. Like the work they're doing is just incredible. It's they don't use project management companies. They don't use you guys.
Yes. They should.
They shouldn't.
They should.
They shouldn't. Why should they?
You should always use project management.
No, you shouldn't. I completely disagree. In New Zealand, we've got so many project management consulting companies that are literally just paper pushers, and they're not actually adding genuine value. And then, okay, you tell me then, how as a project management company do you add genuine value in the industry?
Well, it's based on experience, right?
Agreed. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Based on your, let's talk about your lived experience. Yeah.
So I think you, as a project manager, you know how things should be put together. You specialize in that. So you know how long a roof's going to take, right?
Okay. Yep. Cool. You can work it out because you can actually quantify the square meters of roof, work out the production rate of how much the framing is going to take and how much you're going to put the overlay for, so on and so forth, right up to the roof sheeting, to the guttering, to the downpipes. You can work all of that out, right? It's all quantifiable, measurable, easy.
You can, but actually on site is a different ball game.
Agreed. Yep.
It's completely different, and I think project managers, we specialize in that. That's our special. That's my day to day. Now I know exactly how long. Well, not exactly. I shouldn't say that, but I know how long a roof is going to take. I know how long a slab is going to take. Main contractors will point it in their direction.
But why though? Have you ever thought about why? Because all they're doing is they're adding contingency to the amount of time to protect their risk under a fixed term contract.
Well,
which
they
is
are.
9 times out of 10, right? So if he's going to sign up to doing this entire building in, say, I don't know, 20, $25 million, and he's taken on every bit of risk. He's trying to add contingency back into the program to protect his time and interests. Otherwise, you're going to have one of the project management companies come and beat him up with a stick and apply liquidated damages, and there goes his margin. Gone, out of the
But
window.
who's going to challenge the main contractor? Because the client doesn't know.
Okay.
That's where we come in.
Cool.
That's
And,
where
and,
we're
and,
valuable.
and that's awesome. So then how do you guys go about actually challenging that in a non-confrontational way that actually supports the entire process and actually enables or removes risk from the entire process of construction? Because I've never seen that happen in New Zealand. It's every time it's confrontation.
No, I don't. I don't have any confrontation on our projects.
You don't?
No.
Mate,
Well, hey, it's always.
we need to get you on more projects, mate.
It's always heated. It's always heated.
Yeah.
I do accept that. That's just
Yeah.
construction. If you can't handle that, you shouldn't be in construction.
Not necessarily. It doesn't have to be. It can be factual. You know what I mean? I can't believe
It's-
it.
it's
I
gotta
believe
be-
in being factual.
It's got to be factual. I agree.
Yeah,
But
but it's never factual though. the
It's
matter
more-
of fact is never put out there half the time. It's always emotional. Everything is emotionally driven.
it's more how you. That's it, and that's what you're exactly right. We touched on this before. If you've got to cut the emotion out of business, you've got to cut the emotion out of a construction project.
Yep.
You're there for one task, and that is to deliver the project on time and under budget. And I think there are some project managers out there, Andy, that are still learning that. They argue with every contractor. They argue with every main contractor. They're not reasonable. That's just my understanding of it.
So I have another question now.
Yeah.
Sorry. I've got a bit intense on this.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah.
I apologize, but no, actually, I don't apologize. I won't apologize now. I retract that.
It's awesome.
Okay. So, help me understand this, right? You worn the hat of an ETC, right? Okay.
I have in smaller.
That's fine. But you understand the
residential,
function.
yes.
You understand what they do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm engineers rep on.
Yeah,
quite
and
large
you work
scale.
for a project management consulting company.
Yeah.
You get the inner workings of a project management consulting company. Great, right? Tell me, why does every ETC not pair themselves up with a project planner to support them make good decisions?
Well,
I've never seen an ETC work with the project planner or have a project planner by their side, helping them make good logical decisions of what is the forecast delay in the last period. Right, we've slipped 5 days now. Why is that? Cool. Now, can we help the main contractor with mitigation plans or clear roadblocks for that person, or look downstream and mitigate risk? No.
well, the ETC and ER will work together to sort of collaborate that, wouldn't they?
You tell me that happens?
They were sort of. I know, but that's
Come on,
the ETCs that I know.
Man,
and I know
there's always two sides to the coin, right?
there
And
is.
they're always at odds with each other.
There is.
Yeah, literally, they're at each other's throat, and we are completely in a red ocean strategy right now, right? Like literally, like dog eat dog for breakfast. That is our industry. It's plain brutal truth. That's where we are.
I can't confirm that because
I can.
I haven't worked with professionals like that. I work with good
Yeah,
professionals, and that's. I can't really comment on that, Andy.
That's okay.
I haven't experienced that
you
myself.
you haven't at all,
No.
mate. You must be
No.
doing a damn good job then, because I mean the only reason I witnessed it is because I do construction disputes, right? And I see things from a client's perspective. I see things from a main contractor's perspective or a subcontractor's perspective, because I review all their claims, actually go and actually present findings to them, which is like quite an intense process. It's
I
like,
bet.
it's
I
like
bet.
quite an intense process, but it's fun. Like I love it because I'm just going like, yeah, let's be factual about it. I'm like, I'll take every bit of emotion out of this, be factual, independent about
Yeah.
the review I'm doing. So
Yeah.
it's always fun for me, you know. Sometimes, but I prefer working on tenders as opposed to
Yeah.
any disputes,
Yeah.
because that's where I believe I can actually add the most value, is at the upfront stage on any project.
Yeah.
Dan, so it looks like I've been PM bashing you for the last 15-20 minutes.
Hey, it's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah, how you feeling, mate? You good?
I'm good. I'm
Okay,
good.
you know what? I probably owe it to you, and I owe you a chance to go, right, we've heard Andy's perspective on project management consulting companies in New Zealand. Now let's hear your view of project management companies in New Zealand. You tell me where the value exists in project management companies in New Zealand?
The value exists from understanding the project. When you work from design, when you work in the design phase, you build that up, and then you get through to construction, or tender and then construction. The project manager is very passionate about it, very passionate about bringing that project in under budget, best they can, and on time.
That was me rolling my eyes, but
And on time. It's good for our professional career to keep bringing in projects and delivering. Project managers have to deliver. So in the residential space, I would like to see more project management firms delivering client-side representation for the client. In commercial, the commercial aspect, they do it very well. And I think we need to adopt that approach to the residential side. There are a lot of projects where the client really has no idea, and without a project manager or a representative, no one's looking over their pocket. No one's going to challenge the builder. There's no network. No one's got a network to build in case something goes wrong. The experience, the client just does not have experience in that field. So, it is while up front it may seem very costly, overall they add value, and that's my challenge.
okay. I don't necessarily agree with everything you said, but I will.
I was waiting for that.
I will.
I was waiting for it. Yeah.
Okay, mate. All right. Let me reframe the question a different way, right? Okay. So, if you don't know the answer to it, that's fine. No problem. Just drop it as this. But just chain of thought. I'm just going. We have so many project management companies in New Zealand, right? In construction. Yeah. Do the same amount of, or the quantum for the value of work we deliver, the same quantum of project management companies exist anywhere else in the world? Do you know?
I don't know, Andy. I can't answer that, but I would assume so.
I don't think so, mate. I don't know that for a fact either, but I'll probably go do some research now, because I'm just like that thought just popped into my head.
I'm going to go research it myself.
Yeah, I'm like where else do they exist? Because seems like we have one too many project management consulting companies in New Zealand, like, and how many of them are armed with like the correct resources to actually enable what you just said, or are they just armed with young guns straight out of the university who are great paper pushers?
Some are.
Oh, of course they are.
Some are, definitely.
Yeah, not some.
Yes.
some is a massive understatement there, right? All right. So where's the governance structure to say, all right, these are the number. Okay, mate. Let me tell you, right? Okay.
Yep.
So, a personal lived experience again. Okay.
Yep.
I've dealt with a few project management companies in my time.
Yep.
Quite a few, right? I've worked on at least 120 different projects in the last 5 years. Yep. So ran into a few of you guys. Not you directly, but a few of you guys. Yeah. Okay.
I'm too busy to run into.
Yeah. Mate, I mean, if I'd run into you, it sounds like we could have had a logical conversation about things. It seems like logic in your world
very
is...
approachable, yeah.
Yeah, mate, logic in your world seems like a rare commodity, but okay. Anyways, my assessment, right? I said I want PM back.
There you go. Perfect.
Fuck. I said I won't swear either. Yeah. Okay. Wait, I'm not doing well yet. Okay.
This is awesome.
Okay. Lived experience, right? Okay. So meetings I've gone to, right? So to present a claim, right? Every time from project management consulting company, you guys come armed with about 4 or 5 people to listen to a construction claim, right? And there's always one typical behavior. There's one guy that's the disruptor that just goes, why is that? What is this? Da 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 da. Right? One guy that's just absolutely taking notes.
Yep.
And the other guy trying to ask logical questions based on what you said, right? Like this is like a common pattern that I see every time with you guys. Like, right? There's always that disruptor. He's like the big badass dude, like who just comes out, all guns blazing. You know what I mean? Like literally upsets the balance in the meeting, right? And I just go, I need to get my point across. Like, let me speak, please. Like, I've got to actually demand to have a chance to speak in that meeting. Right? So it's like, this is literally like, you guys just form a group of people, you have a person's agenda, and you just want to attack. Don't want to talk about the facts. This is reality of what actually happens in the industry.
It is reality, but you do need a note taker.
Agreed, but you don't. But I mean, you have AI for that. That's a completely independent note taker that's not going to be biased.
While that's evolving,
It's not evolving. It's here.
It is here, but while that still evolves, you do need someone to take those notes. And unfortunately, that's just someone's required.
I'm not arguing about the note taker. That's fine. It's just the number of people in the room and the amount it costs the client is insane, right? Normally, when we're going to present claims, it'll normally be me, which is like the planner who's actually done the time impact analysis or the window analysis on the delay claim itself, and the legal professional who's with me. It's two of us representing an independent view of actually what happened. Whereas I'm literally going on there to get bashed, and I know I'm going to get bashed. Which is I love those meetings, by the way.
So why didn't they go down the arbitration path?
Every project's different.
Is it?
I don't want to talk about that specific project or the 3-4 instances where this occurred. But arbitration is obviously an option. Yeah.
So what route why did they come through you?
So technically, we try avoid all of that and actually get to a logical point where you go, this EOT is legit. Let's not go down any dispute resolution path, and let's resolve it pre-going down any of the arbitration, mediation.
But then if you followed those paths, you wouldn't need those 3 people in the room, correct?
Maybe not, but they still end up being there eventually, and they still end up starting going like super aggressive just because, I don't know, I'd stop. I'd shut up. But you kind of get my point, though.
I do appreciate where you come from. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a common occurrence.
It's common occurrence. Maybe not for you, but it's common occurrence.
Yeah, I think the company needs to look at it for what it is. Okay, well, what's required in this meeting? I don't think every company, Andy, would do that.
No. I have massive respect for some PM companies out there. Like I'm Frequency. Those guys are awesome. Like those guys are pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I have nothing against them because every time I go PM bashing, Tim gives me a call. Tim Pellin from Frequency gives me a call and goes, "Andy, you got to go easy on us." I'm like, "Yeah, Tim."
There are some good companies out there.
Oh, for sure.
There are.
100%.
I can't bash any project management company because I am a project manager. But that's just.
So back to my original question, right? How do you guys go in armed with the correct resources for a particular project that the client needs? Or are you selling your services based on telling the client you're going to keep the big bad wolf away from their doors and you're going to protect the client completely?
We do try and protect the client completely, yes.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Of course you do. By telling them that you're going to keep the big bad wolf out of the doors.
Well, no, we don't.
So it's like
make promises we can't keep.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
No. All right, mate. Okay. I want to talk about a big new world that could potentially be if we all work together as well. You know, rather than you versus me or him versus her.
Construction needs collaboration.
Agreed.
There is no collaboration. Well, there is. I shouldn't say there's none. We all need to work better.
How can we work better?
I think just understanding. I think one thing I haven't been good at in my life, and I am now starting to get the hang of it, is listening. We don't. My kids and my wife say this, but we don't listen enough. When we go into a construction dispute, we're ready. We're guns blazing. We're ready to protect our side of the contract. The client, we're ready to protect. So we're not going to go on aggressively, but we've got everything stacked up. I think construction needs a better approach. I'm not sure if the 3910/2023 does that or allows for that.
It doesn't.
It doesn't? Well, then I'm not sure. I can't comment on that.
So from my perspective, it doesn't.
Yeah. But we do. We need to work together. It's what I see in the industry is main contractors dislike QSs. Main contractors dislike...
You mean PQSs? Or?
PQSs, yeah. Main contractors dislike client-side project managers.
Not without reason, but yeah.
But we're all there to do our job, and when you understand that, respect that, professionally, it works. It's better for the project. It's all about the project.
You know, the last sentence you said, it's all about the project. I 110% agree with it. It is all about the project. It's about the successful delivery
Yep.
of a project under time, under budget, and to supreme quality.
Yep.
You know, so I have ideas on how we can actually collaborate better.
How do you think?
Plain and simple. Whether we want it or not, it will happen within the next 10 to 15 years. Because we can't carry on living like this.
We can't. Any projects
Can't.
are getting.
Can't.
Yeah.
Like every project in New Zealand is over time and over budget. Yeah.
I read a thing this morning that said that 60% of construction professionals have noticed an increase in construction disputes in 2025. So
Oh,
that's 2025 alone.
Not surprised.
The average overrun of a project is 30%.
Here's the idea that I'm working on. Like the big brave world that I reckon, you know, project manager, PQS, client, contractor, doesn't really matter, right? We all need to pull together towards
We certainly do.
digitalisation.
Yep.
That's what's going to bring us together.
Yep.
And I'm of a very strong belief system that, you know, good digital twins, 3D models as
Yep.
such, right,
Yep.
will become the centroid of construction.
Yes.
Whether we like it or not, that is eventually happening. They will become the centroid of construction. That'll be how quantity takeoffs are done. Programs are built from. You know, you use that as a main platform for change management, for procurement, right? So one central data source that everybody relies on. It's not impossible. We're already there. We've had 3D models for the last 20 odd years. We just don't know how to effectively use them.
I think there's still a lot of doubt in AI from a construction aspect. I think there's a lot of
What sort of doubt? I don't know. Like you tell me, what would you be worried about? Like just from your perspective.
from my perspective, so in meetings, for example, is it capturing that meeting correctly?
Oh,
Is it
don't worry about the
documenting
meeting, right? The meeting is just records that you're actually going to tie back to a part of a 3D building, right? Okay. So it's some of the doubt that people have told me is, the 3D models never always right, you know?
But then you've got people who come from a construction background like myself, and I'm not saying I'm this at all, but it takes them a while to catch up with the AI and what's been implemented into the industry.
Not just AI, right? I'm just talking about data sources here. The AI will come after that.
Yes.
It's about establishing a common data source. Because think about it. Okay. Let me answer the previous question first, right? So people said, okay, some of the problems that I have is that the 3D model is never always right? My answer to that's very, very simple. How do you know your 2D drawings are right?
We don't. It always says check on site, right?
Well, so then how does it matter? You have a base set of data that you're going to work from, whether it's right or wrong. That is the base set of data, and we all know change is the only constant, right?
Correct.
Whether it's 2D drawings or 3D drawings, change is the only constant. So
Yeah.
put in effective change management processes as opposed to actually just questioning every bit, saying, "Oh, I'll do the 3D models right." It's like, your 2D drawing's definitely not right, mate. So why are you bashing out the 3D model? It's like interesting arguments, right? But I have these arguments with a lot of people, which is like,
I would love to see it and see the difference, to be honest. And
it's
then
not easy. It's not difficult to prove. But
Yeah.
okay. So from that point on, let's just move on, right? Okay. So say you're a client side PM. Yep.
Yes.
You then prepare a set of 2D drawings and hopefully a 3D model. Yeah.
Yes.
And you go out for tendering.
Yes.
Okay. So what do? You now take a set of 2D drawings and you then send it out to a portal, which is say Tenderlink, or what's the other one? Gets or whatever it is. I don't know. Right.
Typically it's a closed tenders.
Closed tenders, whatever, or open tender. Who cares? One of the tendering processes. And then 5 construction companies express interest in actually bidding for the work.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Now these 5 individual companies will create an estimate with 5 different cost breakdown structures of how they group their cost and how they've estimated the entire building will be completely different, right?
Or not if you send out a schedule of quantities.
Which is prepared by a PQS, which is at a summary level.
Yes. Yes.
No,
Yes.
that's not how you manage change. I'll stop you there. You still need good asset classification. You need good location breakdown to then chop and churn that information any way you want with ease, right? Okay. So you're still getting 5 different bits of a cost breakdown structure that you cannot automatically reconcile. Never happens, right? So therein lies your first challenge when it comes to data. You're going, right, how do I reconcile my five different cost breakdown structures, and those 5 different cost breakdown structures will now have associated programs, which is time impacts, which have different work breakdown structures that you can't reconcile between the 5. So then, now suddenly the client's going, hey, Mr. Project Management Company, who do I pick to build the project and why do I pick him, right? And 9 times out of 10, your answer is pretty simple. Pick the guy with the cheapest price and the least amount of time. Not the guy that can actually build it, because nobody cares and nobody knows.
Yeah.
Tell
I
me,
see where you come from.
just tell me I'm wrong.
I see where you
Right,
come from.
So hence my point about actually digitizing this information, digitalization, indexed 3D information. That's where we revolutionize this industry, right? I don't just believe it, Dan. I strongly believe it. Right? We can't carry on. Literally getting from a 2D drawing to an estimate takes you 4 weeks, mate. 3 weeks to 4 weeks, easily. Yeah? What are you doing? You're bean counting. You're bean counting for 4 weeks.
But the question I'm going to ask you, which you asked me before, is how do they do it overseas?
Overseas?
Yeah.
I don't think they're any better overseas. Like few companies that we've spoken to, there is still the traditional process of construction. Like construction is always the industry to adopt change, or digitalization is the least digitized industry in comparison to other industries. Yeah, that's all around the world. That's not just New Zealand. I think that's all around the world. But why not have a vision for the future where we can actually change and revolutionize things and bring people closer together, so you're making data-driven decisions, not emotional ones. That's my challenge to the entire industry.
Yeah.
To the entire industry.
Yeah.
That's something I'm really passionate about. Right? Partially my PM bashing comes from a little bit of that strong belief system. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't see why that's not possible. In my head, it's absolutely clear.
You'd have to walk me through it.
Easy, mate. No problem. Anytime.
Yeah.
Let's go for a beer straight after this.
Done.
I'll go for more PM bashing.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? I'll buy you the beers.
Yeah. You'd have to convince me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Dan, so you've got 7 children, so I've been told?
I do, yes.
Yeah, sweet,
Yes.
mate. And have your hands full.
Thank you. Yes, it's definitely it's a hard road.
Oh, I bet.
Yep.
I bet. I want to touch a little bit on mental health and just a few bits that you shared with my team and me earlier. So mental health in New Zealand and even in the construction industry is a big challenge, but you seem to have a very personal incident with mental health with one of your children.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Can you walk us through a little bit of that journey, if you want to?
Sure.
I'd love to hear the challenges you've gone through and how you overcome those challenges, right?
Sure. So, I've asked permission to speak about my son, and he's given
cool.
permission. So, at the age of 13, my son went down a very bad road. He moved out.
Hang on, you do have permission to talk about this?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Just checking. Cool.
Yep.
Right.
He moved out of Auckland with his mother and her mother's husband, and he got mixed in with the wrong group of friends. I had no clue. He's a fantastic kid. He is very bubbly. He gives me hugs all the time. He's an amazing kid, as with all my kids. They're all amazing. And unfortunately, when he got involved with the wrong kids, he was pushed to Snapchat.
Oh, no.
Yeah. First he got hooked on vape. Then he got hooked on marijuana.
Yep.
And then he got hooked on, I think it was LSD.
Shit.
And then
This is at the age of 13.
This was around
13
14.
to
This was heading
14?
more 14, 15.
Yeah, right.
And we've had a real hard road trying to get him off drugs. Recently, I think it was about 2 or 3 months ago, he took a whole concoction of drugs, and he was in the hospital. We were in the hospital for 3 days.
Shit. How old is he now, if you don't mind me asking?
He's 16 now. He was coming down off drugs. He has no recollection of this. He doesn't remember it. He was completely high on drugs. It took me a while to understand what was going on. My old school ways were, come on, just grow up.
Get out of it.
Get out of it. And that shit needs to stop. We need to stop being so hard on our kids. Us as we need to accept that the world has changed. School has changed. The demand for social media has been applied, and how you should look and how you should talk, and everyone's judged. And we have struggled. I've paid thousands and thousands of dollars for counselling bills. My ex-wife has paid thousands. We've been in and out of hospitals.
Has that helped?
Counselling has helped. Recently, I've just paid about $6,500–7,000 to take him away to Hamner Springs in Christchurch, and pull him away from the group of friends that he was with. And he's incredible. He's done really well. He hasn't touched drugs for 2 weeks. And we're and that's never happened. He's never not touched vape or cigarettes. What I learned going through that process of pulling him out of it is that our system needs some serious reform. We do not take this seriously. I have struggled to find help in regards to rehabs. I have struggled to talk to someone myself. Mike King does a tremendous job.
Awesome, yeah. Mike, I was just going to say, have you spoken to Mike King?
He does an amazing job. But the government are not backing us enough. We need to help these kids. And it's a group effort. There's just not enough help out there. I have really struggled for the last 2 years. Broke down before Christmas, which is not like me, but we have really struggled with this.
Mate, I'm really, really sorry to hear this. It must be taking a massive toll on you as well, and the whole family.
It is a huge toll. It does take its toll on the family as well, because it does become all about the drugs. But one thing I can say is once you pull someone like that out of their environment and you see them and you remember them as the little baby they were, mate, your heart just drops. It's so cool to see. But we need to sort this out.
Yeah, and what do you reckon the next steps would be to sort that out? I mean, obviously Mike King's doing what he can, and you should reach out to Mike King. I'll facilitate an introduction if you want.
Yeah,
Mike's come on the podcast. He's amazing. He's doing God's work out there. So
he is. I think we need, obviously Mike King's.
And the whole gumboot revolution is awesome.
That all needs to be looked at more. They need more funding. It's that simple, right? It's a hard one to talk about for me.
Yeah.
But I would like to talk more about it. As a hard-working father, we don't talk about these things. We bottle it up, and people will probably watch this podcast about me and go, "Wow, I never knew that." For the past 3-4 years.
Hats off to you to opening up about this,
Thank
though.
you, yeah.
No, it really means a lot to me that you actually open up about this on the podcast, and because I'm very passionate about mental health, of just the challenges that I've been through, and because I've gone through a period of a little bit of alcohol addiction as well.
Yes.
When I started the company, the amount of pressure I had. So I mean, it's nothing compared to what you're going through, but I understand it because I've gone through that challenge, and I've went and got help to get out of it.
It's that help that we don't know where to go. Look,
I would recommend you go speak to another person called Drew Knowles. He's the one that helped me quite a bit. Just he helped me function better as a person. Just elevate. You did mention Andy, you're thinking on the fly a lot. Right?
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
He's helped me get to that point. He's saved my life. Right? Like Drew Knowles has saved my life. And that's just a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Man's a genius. I would recommend that you actually have a chat with him too. So I'll put you onto him as well.
Yeah, I'd be keen to look more into this because something needs to be done, and we need to help these poor kids.
Mate, I don't know how much he can help your particular situation, but he works with a lot of top-level execs around the construction industry. He does a lot of work. He does amazing work in the construction industry. He's a good resource to know as well.
Thank you, yeah.
But mate, I'm really appreciative of the fact that you brought it up. And
thank you, yeah, it needs to be more talked about. And
absolutely, and more government backing. And I don't know what else we can do for these children, but they need it. Man,
They do.
I'm standing right there with you, mate. And if
They
there's
do.
anything I can do to help, I'm all ears.
Thank you, Andy.
All right.
Thank you.
Anyways, mate, best of luck with your child, and hopefully you can sort it out.
Thank you.
Yeah, very soon. But more importantly, thank you for your time,
No worries.
and thank you for all the valuable insights. And I apologize if I've given you a little bit of a hard
It's been
time.
a good challenge. I've struggled to think on my feet, but I'm taking in, your approach to the industry, and
Maybe a biased view, but it is a view. But hey, mate, I appreciate you coming on. Yeah.
No worries.
Thank you for your
very
time.
much for
Cheers,
having
mate.
me. Thank you.